Rule 10, Traffic Separation Schemes. This rule applies to traffic separation schemes adopted by the organisation and does not relieve any vessel of her obligation under any other rule. So firstly, what is a traffic separation scheme? A traffic separation scheme is an area in the sea where navigation of ships is highly regulated. It's meant to create lanes in the water, and ships in a specific lane should all be going in roughly the same direction. In fact, traffic separation schemes were a significant update to the rules in 1972, where they were created in response to collisions in the Dover Straits, and they reduced the collision rate in the Dover Straits by 75%. A vessel using a traffic separation scheme shall proceed in the appropriate traffic lane in the general direction of traffic flow for that lane. So looking at the purple and yellow ships right now, as you can see, they're following the traffic lanes in the direction of the arrows. The traffic lanes and the arrows and everything are coloured magenta on most navigation charts. And a vessel, so far as practicable, keep clear of a traffic separation line or separation zone. Vessels shall normally join or leave a traffic lane at the termination of the lane, but when joining or leaving from either side shall do so at as small an angle to the general direction of traffic flow as practicable. So once again, looking at our yellow ship here, we can see that as it leaves the traffic lane, it's doing so as a shallower angle as is safe and practicable. A vessel shall, so far as practicable, avoid crossing traffic lanes, but if obliged to do so, shall cross on a heading as nearly as practicable as right angles to the general direction of traffic flow. So this means a right angle heading to the traffic flow, as we've just seen. What happens though if there's a strong crosswind or cross tide? Well, the ship's heading doesn't change. We still head at 90 degrees to the traffic zone. We will be moved sideways, so our ground track won't be 90 degrees, but our heading must be 90 degrees. The reason for this is we have to maintain aspect, so there's no doubt at all in day or night that we are going across the traffic zone. And there's also no doubt to vessels that are viewing us by radar that they're seeing the largest aspect of our vessel. A vessel shall not use an inshore traffic zone when she can safely use the appropriate traffic lane within the adjacent traffic separation scheme. However, vessels of less than 20 metres in length, sailing vessels, and vessels engaged in fishing may use the inshore traffic zone. The inshore traffic zone usually runs outside of the TSS, between the TSS and the shore. Notwithstanding subparagraph D part 1, a vessel may use an inshore traffic zone when en route to or from a port, offshore installation or structure, pilot station, or any other place situated within the inshore traffic zone, or to avoid immediate danger. Notwithstanding then, meaning in spite of, so despite the fact that we should avoid using the inshore traffic zone, if we're going to a destination, then it's fine to use it. And obviously under Rule 2, where we're allowed to make a departure from the rules in case of emergency, we're allowed to use the inshore traffic zone in order to avoid immediate danger. A vessel other than a crossing vessel or a vessel joining or leaving a lane shall not normally enter a separation zone or cross a separation line except 1. In cases of emergency to avoid immediate danger, and 2. To engage in fishing within a separation zone. So there we have it again. Rule 2 coming into play. In case of emergency or to avoid immediate danger, we can make a departure from the rules. But also, much like Rule 9, we're allowed to fish, but we're not allowed to get in anybody else's way. A vessel navigating in areas near the terminations of traffic separation schemes shall do so with particular caution. This should make common sense because, as you would expect, at the termination and start points of the traffic separation zone, there's going to be a lot of traffic as it's all funneling down to follow those prescribed lanes. A vessel shall, so far as practicable, avoid anchoring in a traffic separation scheme or in areas near its terminations. Once again, this is similar to Rule 9, where we shouldn't anchor in a narrow channel, but it's so far as practicable, again, is a reference to Rule 2, where in case of emergency, we make a departure from the rules. A vessel not using a traffic separation scheme shall avoid it by as wide a margin as practicable. A vessel engaged in fishing shall not impede the passage of any vessel following a traffic lane. A vessel of less than 20 metres in length or a sailing vessel shall not impede the safe passage of a power-driven vessel following a traffic lane. This is a strange reference to Rule 18, where normally power gives way to sail, but in traffic separation schemes and narrow channels, sailing vessels must not impede vessels that can only navigate within those schemes. A vessel restricted in her ability to manoeuvre when engaged in an operation for the maintenance of safety of navigation in a traffic separation scheme is exempted from complying from this rule to the extent necessary to carry out the operation. Of course, bull diamond bull is the day shape displayed by vessels restricted in their ability to manoeuvre, which means they're unable to get out of the way because of the nature of their work. These vessels, if they're dealing with matters to do with the TSS, are exempted from the rule so they can carry out their work. And a vessel restricted in her ability to manoeuvre when engaged in an operation for the laying, servicing or picking up of a submarine cable within a traffic separation scheme is exempted from complying with this rule to the extent necessary to carry out the operation. So once again, if they have to work in that area, there's no two ways about it, they have to work and they're exempted from the rule. And that's everything in a traffic separation scheme. It's important to note again that Rule 10 sits within Section 1 of the steering and sailing rules, so this rule applies in all conditions of visibility.